Today on the I Have a Hankering for Turkey Says podcast, I'll be discussing what I am thankful for, distance miking in an untreated space, and other stuff too, so go ahead and stick around. This, behind me, this is called a turkey. The reason there's a turkey behind me is this is the week of American Thanksgiving, which means I'm gonna eat that thing, and I am very happy about it. Also, fun fact, I believe Benjamin Franklin wanted to make the turkey the national bird. And that makes me wonder, if the turkey had become the national bird of the USA, could we still eat the turkey for Thanksgiving? I don't know. Just something that popped into my head. Many of you may be thinking, geez, Bandrew's phoning it again. He didn't want to look at the news. He didn't want to analyze anything. That's why he's sharing what he's thankful for. Maybe, kinda, but also there's a bunch of negative crap going on, so why not put out something that's positive? Put out something that's uplifting. Focus on the stuff that has improved our lives. That's why I'm doing it, really. And I'm a little bit lazy, but don't tell anybody. Number one for me is the most obvious selection, friends and family. I am fortunate enough to have amazing family and amazing friends. I talk to my dad regularly. I talk to my mother, not as often as I should, but I still do. I have a great set of siblings. I'm not going to disclose more than that. I have incredible aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews. I am just a fortunate guy to have such an incredible family. My friends on top of that, how does one guy get so lucky? How does one guy get so lucky? I have friends that I have known since high school. I have friends and I have reconnected with friends that I toured with in bands. We talk regularly. We're talking about playing a show again. We get to goof off and just remember all the silly times we had. I have friends that I made through criticizing their audio quality. This is insane. I DM'd them on Twitter out of the blue and said, your audio is terrible. Here's how you fix it. And I'm still friends with him. Hi, Logan. I hope you're doing well. I have friends who are part of a Discord server. I have friends who are a part of a podcast network. I am such a lucky dude. How does one guy get so lucky to even have a turkey behind him this entire time? So family and friends is obvious, but I truly am thankful. I truly am lucky to have that. I'm also incredibly thankful that I haven't been carjacked this year. I guess it's not over, so I should preface that by saying, so far, I guess there's still a chance for that. My health. I haven't always been the healthiest person, but I am fortunate enough to be able to have the ability to exercise every single day. I'm fortunate enough to have the willpower and the stubbornness to eat relatively healthy every day. And because of that, I have been able to feel as good as I have ever remembered feeling. I've never felt amazing, but the last couple of years, I have felt pretty darn good. So the fact that I am relatively healthy and knock on wood, so God willing, that is the case. God willing, there isn't some kind of secret illness or disease brewing inside of me that's going to knock me over tomorrow. And because of that, I'm incredibly fortunate. Yes, I do have a set of crappy eyes that are only going to get worse. But it could be a lot worse. It could be my hearing, and that is significantly more important to me. My ears could be going, and then I couldn't do any of the stuff that I truly love. Yeah, my eyes suck, so what? It could be worse. I'm also very thankful that I haven't ever eaten tofurkey, because that sounds terrible. I was vegetarian for a couple of years, 4 years. During that time, I don't think I ever had tofurkey. And that's a blessing. That is a true, true blessing. I also survived COVID this year, which I almost completely forgot about. Around May, I caught COVID when I was on a work trip and I was sick as a dog for a couple of weeks. I think I missed a month of uploads. I haven't done that in a long time since my studio flooded. The roof was leaking. So I am happy, I am thankful, I am grateful, I am fortunate to have been healthy enough to make it through that. Very lucky there. This is going to sound hokey, but I am thankful for YouTube. I know all the people who hate YouTube are just typing away clickety-clacking, you idiot! How dare you enjoy YouTube? But I really do. If you've ever interacted with me, chances are you've noticed I am a very uncomfortable and awkward person. I'm not great at interpersonal communication. I'm not good at understanding human emotion. I'm not good at understanding cues. I am just uncomfortable and awkward. And the reason I'm bringing that up is YouTube has afforded me this outlet where I'm comfortable communicating. I am comfortable sharing stuff that I'm passionate about. And in the real world, I wouldn't be that comfortable. That's something that I enjoy about YouTube, this platform, but also the internet as a whole, because the internet allows the antisocial or awkward or weird people an outlet that we might not otherwise have. And that's also why I really dislike trolling. I get it, haha, very funny, you said mean stuff and made somebody very emotional and angry and they quit uploading or they had to shut off the internet for a couple of weeks. Good job, good accomplishment. The reason I dislike that is it removes an outlet that some people may need. I kinda need this outlet, otherwise I would go crazy. Before I found this outlet, I was starting to go crazy, so I know how important having that can be, and that's why I dislike trolling, because it's people knowingly trying to remove access to that outlet, or trying to push people to the point where they lose that outlet, and that's just not funny to me. That's stupid. It's stupid. I don't see any value in that. That is a net negative in the world. Good job, though, I guess. Really funny stuff. Super. Well done. But to bring it back around to YouTube, YouTube also gives me a lot of entertainment. I get exposed to new hobbies. I wouldn't have learned to care about fragrances. Maybe that's a negative. I wouldn't have found this passion for watches had I not watched YouTube. So not only does YouTube give me an outlet, but it also provides me entertainment and new avenues to explore. And that's super cool because in a world where everything can be so darn negative, everything is stupid, I don't care about anything, YouTube, because their recommendation algorithm, I know there's a lot of issues with it, but because it recommended me certain stuff, I found stuff to be excited about when there really wasn't much to be excited about in the world during lockdown. A lot of stuff sucked, but it recommended me stuff that made me realize, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's worth being excited about. I have a few more things that I'm thankful for. I am deeply thankful that I haven't been a victim of a home break-in, a home invasion. So far, I am thankful that my rent only increased 20% this year. I am thankful that I don't have a floating rate 8.5% mortgage. I am thankful that I live in the US because in a couple of days it is going to be socially acceptable to binge eat this bird that is behind me until you feel ill and then wash it down with a pumpkin pie and stuffing. That is something worth being thankful for. That is not all that I am thankful for, but that is where I am going to end this exercise because I am sure it is getting a bit dull. Let me know in the comments what you are thankful for, what is great in this world, what you're excited about, what you are happy to have in your life, who you're happy to have in your life. Let me know in the comments down below. Now let's talk about what I have been testing. Why did I say it that way, is the Shure KSM 313/NE, a figure 8 ribbon microphone from, you guessed it, Shure. This microphone costs about $1,300 dues. That's a lot of damage. I bought it on sale because this is something else I'm thankful for. I am thankful that Shure's website went all cattywampus a couple of months ago and rolled out a 40% off discount sale thing across everything, which I am sure was a glitch. And I got this for 40% off. And I am a happy camper because of that. I am deeply thankful for that because it saved me a lot of money. I am speaking into the rear lobe of sensitivity because the front and the rear sound vastly different. Very interesting choice there because it gives you essentially two different microphones. The front of the microphone gives you a much more classic ribbon sound, much darker, much smoother, a lot less top end. And the rear lobe, which is what you've been listening to me on this entire episode, has a lot more extension into the treble region. It still rolls off a bit of air, still has that classic ribbon sound, very smooth, but it does have a bit brighter sound. So you essentially have two different microphones with this. I'm running it into the Universal Audio LA610 Mark II, gain plus 10, level all the way up. So all the gain that's available, I have the compressor slightly touching it. That sounded dirty. I am slightly compressing the signal is what I meant. It is not making the Shure KSM313 feel uncomfortable in any way. It is all perfectly above board. And I am running 1.5 dB bump at 7 kilohertz. That is what I have been testing. And now we are already at what she had to say. The first set of comments comes from... I'm going to struggle to read this. Let me rotate this and see if I can read it. The first set of comments comes from Meteorite, Compete to Defeat, and Fluffy Bunny. Why does anyone pay bank fees? Never in my life. There are plenty of completely free and reputable checking and savings accounts available with no fees or minimums. Vote with your money. Yep, I have no weird fees and my minimum balance is 0. Middle-aged bloke here, not once have I paid bank fees outside of a business account. In the UK, but if you are paying bank fees, you have the wrong account. Thank you to all of you for sharing that insight, sharing that information. I find it absolutely amazing that y'all have made it your entire lives without paying bank fees outside of business accounts, because every single bank account that I have ever had for the last 25 years has had bank fees if you don't meet minimum criteria. If you don't have enough direct deposit, if you don't have enough outgoing transactions, if you don't have a minimum balance, they will charge you fees. And finding out what those limitations are, finding out what those requirements are, is incredibly important to avoid that. Maybe in other parts of the world outside of the US, you have fewer bank fees. Maybe there are regulations that say banks can't charge you fees for basic checking and savings. I don't know. But in the States, every single bank that I have had at some point has charged me bank fees. And I worked at a bank for 2 years, and I saw many a bank fee. And I'm not talking about the general overdraft fee. I am fairly certain every financial institution has that. I am talking about you don't meet the minimum balance, you don't have enough transactions, you don't have X, Y, or Z, so we're charging you $10 a month. That's money that the bank should not get. And that's why I was bringing it up last week. I want to bring people's attention to that. I want people to research their accounts. I want them to understand the requirements to avoid those fees so we can take money out of those banks' pockets and put it back in our own, because money is getting a bit tight. Everything's a bit more expensive, and stretching your dollar a little bit further is increasingly important. Thank you all very much for your insight there. Next, we have a set of comments from Sound Speeds and Tawahito. They say, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy bacon, and that's pretty much the same thing. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy the KMS 105. Alan and Tiwahito, thank you very much for the comments. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, and thanks for sharing what brings you happiness in this world. It's very rare that people find what actually brings them happiness, so the fact that you found that is incredible. Whether it be making a sandwich with 33 pieces of bacon that are weaved together, more power to you. If it's buying a KMS 105 and using that brings you inspiration and makes you happy to make music or record voiceovers, more power to you. That is incredible. Last week when I was talking about substituting food items for items that are more affordable, I wasn't advocating giving up everything that brings you joy, everything that brings you happiness. It is okay to indulge from time to time. I just think that practicing sacrifice or practicing self-control is really important, especially as the economy gets worse, especially as our money buys less. It's important to not maintain that lifestyle that we had when our dollars were more powerful, when our income was higher. We need to ensure that we are adjusting our lifestyle to where we actually are, to what we can actually afford. That's why I was talking about cutting back on buying $8 bacon and switching to $2 for a week worth of breakfast. That is so much more affordable. That's more in line with what I am comfortable spending. But you each need to do what is right for you. You need to do what is right for your financial situation. You need to do what is right for you as an individual. If you are stressed all the time and that bacon sandwich is the one thing in this world that brings you escape and joy, indulge. Go forth and do it. But if it's going to put you in the poorhouse, substitute it for eggs. That's all I'm saying. I know you're fiscally responsible. I know you're not going to do anything stupid, but I want to explain where I was coming from. Hopefully that makes sense. Now we are jumping to the value for value segment. This show is now officially a value for value show. So that means nothing is behind a paywall. I do not have advertisements on it. This show is purely funded by the generosity of those who choose to financially support it. We have 3 contributors this week. First comes from TechMed Rainer Richter, €25. He says, Donka, I know you. I know for sure that you're an AMP undercover agent, so I keep funding AMP. Thank you so much for doing this and future videos, although you didn't feel inspired doing it this time, but it keeps me inspired if this means anything to you. Rainer, thank you so much for the kind words, and thank you so much for the support, and thank you for outing me as an undercover AMP agent. My cover is blown, and now what the hell am I gonna do? Next, you're gonna put up a picture of me in a costume and say, look, the AMP guy is Bandrew. And then what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? You've ruined all of this, Rainer. But thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Next, we have 10 USD from Wolf Gilbert. He says, I know you don't like compliments, but buckle your seatbelt, cause you're getting some whether you like it or not. You say that you're down on time and energy, so some of your recent episodes have kind of sucked. My friend, I host an audio-only podcast. I don't have to mess around with video. I just need to turn up and spout into a microphone. I try to put it out monthly. Yes, 1 episode every 4.2 weeks, and I fail to make that schedule more often than not. You put out frankly really interesting content with multiple video episodes every week, barring the odd vacation. Your effort and energy blows me away. Sure, some of your stuff is just your opinion, shoot from the hip style, but most of it is well researched and actively addresses some other poor schmuck's problem in a well thought out and demonstrated manner, and even the your opinion stuff is actually quite interesting. I think you are darn amazing, so deal with that compliment. Wolf, thank you so much for those incredibly kind words. That really does mean the world to me. But at the same time, how dare you make me read such complimentary things? That was very difficult to get through, but I really do appreciate that. That does mean a lot to me, and I also appreciate the support of the show. Last, we have 5 USD from Liberty Dude. He says, have still been loving recent podcasts, and everyone knows short breaks are necessary from time to time. Liberty Dude, thank you so much for the 5 USD, and thank you so much for those kind words and support. You are always so supportive and nice. Don't worry, I won't tell anybody because I know you have a reputation to uphold, but you are such a nice guy, and I deeply appreciate that. Really does mean a lot. That is it for the value for value section. Why did I turn into that? I don't know. We're doing it. Only one, but let's jump to my favorite part of the show, the Ask Bandrew segment. Welcome to the Ask Bandrew segment, the segment where you ask me, Bandrew, and I attempt to answer you questionnaire. If you want to send in a question to be answered, go to askbandrew.com, askbandrew.com. What's going on behind me? askbandrew.com. Send in audio and video if you can. I appreciate that more because I don't have to read. We get to hear how you sound, and that's good for everybody. So let's go to the one submission this week because I was feeling a bit lazy. It comes from csb.lol. Take it away, comic strip blogger.
Howdy, Bandrew. Here is comic strip blogger from www.csb.lol. Here is a question for you that bothers me. Can you propose microphone that I could use in video teleconferences but that must be far away from my face to be not visible via webcam? My room is not treated, so probably it must be dynamic microphone and not shotgun, as shotgun microphones are condensers. Yo, CSB.
CSB, thank you very much for the question. I really do appreciate it. In order to answer that question, I have a bunch of different microphones set up, and I will go through each of them so you can hear them. But first, I want to talk about the camera and the default microphone. The camera is the inbuilt camera on the 2019 MacBook Pro. Now you are hearing the internal microphone on the MacBook Pro as well. This sounds pretty terrible. This is standard fare for a conference call. Most people will be using a cheap headset mic or the internal microphone on their computer. Now you're hearing the microphone that you likely noticed first. This is the SM7B sat directly in front of my face, 3-ish inches away from my mouth, connected directly to the 2i2 3rd Gen with my gain at 100%. This is going to give us the best signal to background noise ratio, and it's going to give us the most direct sound. I also have a dryer going on in the background. I have rain going on outside. I think an air conditioner or something turned on. It's very noisy here. So this is a best case scenario in this environment. Again, here is the internal microphone on the MacBook. Very bad. Back on the SM7B to give you that more direct sound, but you don't want a microphone in frame, so let's explore two different options. Back again on the internal microphone on the MacBook to give you that palette cleanser to let you understand how most people are going to sound. Now you are hearing a microphone that is still in frame but is kind of well hidden. This is a lav mic directly between my man boobs. It's about 7 inches away from my mouth. For this example, I'm recording to a Zoom H1, but you could pick up the Zoom 3.5mm interface and connect this directly to your computer and get a tiny bit of DSP as well. I think they just give you a high pass filter maybe, but you are getting a tiny bit of processing. Again, here is the internal microphone on the MacBook about 3 feet away from my mouth. Here is the lav mic clipped to my chest. Internal microphone on the MacBook, back on the chest, the lav mic. The Rode Lavalier 2 is what this is called. And here we are back on the palette cleanser with the MacBook's internal microphone. The last option that I have is actually a condenser, even though you said you don't want one. Now I have switched to that condenser microphone, which, where is it? It is nowhere in frame. If I rotate my MacBook up ever so slightly, this is the SE Electronics SE7. I would say this is 9-10 inches away from my mouth. It's pretty much parallel to the desk, so it's picking up a little bit less reflections off of that. I'm running it into the 2i2 3rd Gen, 48 volts on, gain set at about 3 o'clock. Again, here is the internal microphone on the MacBook. Pretty bad, pretty far away, pretty roomy, lots of background noise. And here is the SE Electronics SE7, 10-ish inches away from my mouth, overhead miking, running into the 2i2. It's going to do a pretty decent job at background noise rejection, but it is still going to be a lot more roomy than a dynamic mic that's 3 inches away from your mouth. But that's the nature of the beast. If you're distance miking yourself, it's going to pick up more room tone. It's going to pick up more background noise, even if it is a dynamic. To demonstrate this really quickly, here is the SE Electronics SE7 in that exact same location. And now here is the Shure SM7B about 10 inches away from my mouth being overhead boomed. I will have to boost it quite a bit more. but you should still be hearing a similar amount of roominess, a similar amount of background noise. So just by distance miking yourself, you're going to be introducing quite a bit more background noise and quite a bit more ambient noise. And to wrap up my response, I want to go through each of the options that are available, starting on the internal microphone on the MacBook, jumping to the SM7B or just a standard dynamic mic a couple inches away from your mouth. Now jumping to a lav mic that is clipped directly to my chest, maybe 7 inches away from my mouth and a lot closer to the sound source than the internal mic on the computer. And finally ending on a small diaphragm condenser mic about 10 inches away from my mouth, being overhead boomed without any kind of processing. So although you say you don't want a condenser mic, if you're distance miking, I think an SDC, a small diaphragm condenser, or a shotgun mic is going to be the optimal selection there, because they do a better job picking up sounds from that distance. With a mic that's quiet like the 7B, the SE Electronics V7, they are going to struggle to get a decent signal from 10, 11, 12 inches away. So I think a small diaphragm condenser or a lavalier microphone is going to be the best pick. Hopefully that was helpful. There you go. That is it. That's the show. I have nothing else. The turkey is back behind me. If you're in the States this Thursday, I hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving. Have plenty of turkey, have some stuffing, have some mashed potatoes, have some pumpkin pie, have all of the deliciousness that accompanies Thanksgiving. If you're outside of the US, I still hope you have an amazing Thursday. I want to end by saying I am truly thankful to you for watching or listening to this show. The fact that you choose to spend 30, 45 minutes with me every single week, it doesn't go unnoticed. I am incredibly honored and grateful for you taking your time out of your busy schedule, out of your life to hang out with me. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I hope you have an amazing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Thanksgiving, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, Saturday, next Sunday. I will talk at you. I will see you then. Bye-bye. Whoa. Whoa. Boop. Oh. Ow. I'm okay. I'm okay. We're good.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.